It was the summer of 2004 when the quiet town of Ravenbrook, Pennsylvania, became the backdrop of a mystery that still chills residents to this day. On July 14th, a young nursing student named Emily Carter vanished without a trace, and despite years of searching, the case has never been solved. What happened to Emily Carter? The answer remains hidden, but the story of her disappearance continues to haunt everyone who remembers her. Emily was 26 years old. She was dedicated to her studies, working part-time at a local diner to help pay her tuition. Friends described her as warm, cheerful, and dependable. She had dreams of becoming a pediatric nurse, and her future looked bright. On the night she disappeared, she left the diner around 9:17 p.m. with a small bag of food she had packed to take home. The security camera caught her smiling and waving to her manager as she walked to her white Toyota Corolla. It was supposed to be just another ordinary night. But Emily never made it home. The following morning, when she failed to show up for class and wasn't answering her phone, her best friend Claire grew worried. Claire went to check on her, only to find Emily's car missing from the apartment lot. Alarmed, she contacted the police, and within hours the search for Emily Carter began. When investigators entered Emily's apartment, everything seemed normal. Her laptop was still open on the desk. A half-finished cup of coffee sat on the counter. Her wallet and keys were neatly placed on the nightstand. Nothing appeared stolen, but one crucial item was missing: her cell phone. This detail immediately caught investigators' attention. In 2004, cell phones weren't as advanced as today, but losing contact altogether raised red flags. Had Emily taken it with her? Had someone else? 3 days later, the first major clue surfaced. Emily's white Toyota Corolla was discovered parked in the back of an abandoned shopping plaza, only 2 miles from her apartment. The driver's side door was unlocked. The keys were still in the ignition. On the passenger seat sat the untouched bag of food she had picked up from the diner. It looked as if she had been interrupted suddenly, forced to leave her car behind. The discovery sparked fear throughout Ravenbrook. People began to wonder. Had Emily been followed that night? Had someone been waiting for her? Investigators focused on 3 potential suspects. The first was her ex-boyfriend, Daniel Reyes. Daniel, a mechanic, had a history of temper problems, and their breakup just a month earlier had been tense. Friends told police they had argued often, and Daniel had difficulty letting go. When questioned, Daniel admitted to seeing Emily a couple of days before her disappearance but denied any involvement. His alibi was weak. He claimed he was home working on his car. Detectives searched his garage but found nothing conclusive. The second person of interest was Michael Adams, one of Emily's classmates. Michael was known to be quiet and reserved, but classmates said his admiration for Emily had grown obsessive. He often lingered after study sessions, following her to the library or the diner. When detectives searched his dorm room, they found notebooks filled with Emily's name scribbled in the margins, along with pages of personal observations about her. Michael insisted they were just friends and claimed he had not seen her since class earlier that week. Though suspicious, investigators lacked hard evidence linking him to her disappearance. The third lead came from neighbors who reported seeing a dark SUV parked near Emily's apartment in the days leading up to her disappearance. Nobody recognized the vehicle, and descriptions varied. Some said it was black, others said dark blue. Police tried to track down the SUV, but with limited surveillance technology at the time, no useful footage was ever recovered. To this day, the identity of that mysterious vehicle remains unknown. But perhaps the most chilling clue came from Emily's cell phone records. Investigators discovered that her last call was made at 9:42 p.m., just 25 minutes after leaving the diner. She had called her best friend, Claire. The call lasted only 11 seconds before it cut off. Claire remembered answering and hearing muffled noises, like wind, quick movement, and then sudden silence. She thought Emily had accidentally dialed her. But detectives suspected that call may have been the exact moment Emily was abducted. After that, Emily's phone went dark. No further calls, no text messages. The signal disappeared entirely. The case quickly spread beyond Ravenbrook. News stations picked up the story, and soon Emily's face was plastered across television screens and newspapers statewide. Volunteers organized search parties, combing through nearby woods, rivers, and abandoned buildings. Flyers were taped to lampposts and shop windows, bearing her smiling face with the words, "Missing," in bold letters. Despite exhaustive efforts, weeks turned into months, and months into years, without any sign of Emily. In the absence of answers, theories began to emerge. Some believed Daniel, the ex-boyfriend, had finally snapped and harmed Emily in a jealous rage. Others were convinced Michael, the classmate, had let his obsession spiral out of control. Still others suspected a stranger, possibly the driver of the dark SUV, had been stalking her and seized the opportunity to take her. But with no body, no weapon, and no concrete evidence, the case remained open and unsolved. As years passed, the mystery deepened. In 2009, 5 years after her disappearance, a hiker reported finding a torn piece of fabric deep in the woods about 15 miles from Ravenbrook. The fabric was tested and confirmed to contain Emily's DNA. But the discovery only raised more questions. How had it gotten there? Was Emily taken into those woods, or had someone planted it to mislead investigators? No further remains or evidence were found. In 2013, nearly a decade after Emily vanished, new technology allowed detectives to revisit old evidence. Forensic specialists analyzed fingerprints taken from her abandoned car. One partial print on the passenger door handle did not match Emily, Daniel, or Michael. It belonged to an unknown male. The discovery reignited the investigation, but once again, no match was found in national databases. Rumors continued to swirl around town. Some whispered that Emily had been taken by a human trafficking ring. Others speculated that she had been killed and buried somewhere remote. A few even suggested she had run away voluntarily, though those who knew her best rejected the idea completely. Emily had been deeply connected to her family and friends, and she was passionate about finishing her nursing degree. Vanishing on her own didn't fit her character. In 2017, a cold case unit took over the investigation. Detectives re-interviewed witnesses, revisited the plaza where her car had been found, and tracked down every reported sighting. There were many false leads, people claiming to have seen Emily in neighboring towns, or even in other states, but none were ever confirmed. Still, every time the phone rang with a possible lead, her parents answered with a flicker of hope. Today, more than 20 years later, the disappearance of Emily Carter remains one of Ravenbrook's darkest unsolved mysteries. Her family continues to keep her memory alive, holding vigils every July and reminding the world that Emily was more than just a missing person. She was a daughter, a friend, and a young woman whose future was stolen. Police still receive occasional tips, and investigators insist the case is not closed. Somewhere out there, someone knows what happened to Emily Carter. Until the truth is revealed, her story will remain a haunting reminder of how quickly a life can vanish, leaving behind only questions and silence.